Good morning, you beautiful, beautiful people. Hope everybody's doing good today, having a great day. This is the Masters Pro. What the hell is it? I don't even know what I'm calling my stuff. And I'm not going to do retakes either, because you know why? I like the raw, real stuff. I don't like that edited crap. Maybe eventually, but for now, we're going to keep it raw. And this is the IFBB Pro Masters off-season vlog number 3. There it is, I think. But anyway, it'll be in the title. Not that I got a plethora of followers right now anyway, but when you can, if you can, I would appreciate liking and subscribing and sharing the videos with people you think would be interested in it. And I'll also do another shameless plug in the end announcing that same information. But it would be great because I'm not in this to try to, monetize and whatever you want to call it, make tons of money. And I do this because I love it. And I love to share information with people. And again, while I'm still in the game of bodybuilding and I'm actually living it, it's nice to pass on the information in real time. So today we're going to be discussing, and I'm going to continue my off. Again, if anybody's seen my last couple videos, I'm talking about my off season right now. And I'm in the middle of off season. So this particular video I'd like to do on prioritizing certain things within the off season to maximize every little bit that you can out of it. So, in the game of bodybuilding, one of the most important things is consistency. And if you're able to maintain consistency in your training and in your nutrition, it's going to yield optimal results, right? You're going to get the most bang for your buck. There are some people out there, let's face it, that are extremely gifted and genetically that can get away with, training and form, and it's piss poor. Maybe they don't do a full, they have no full range of motion in a movement. They do just poor form. They just slug weight around. They train. Their training frequency is all over the place. They eat poorly. Maybe they drink alcohol. And I'm not condoning anything or anybody. I mean, if that's the way you live and that's the way you want to go at this thing, that's fine. But as a pro bodybuilder who wants to progress, if you're not genetically gifted like a freak, because let's face it, there's some freaks out there that are genetically gifted that can get away with doing a little and gain a ton. So if that's your style and that's what you do, fine. But for the majority of us, you have to work at it, and it requires consistency. So I find, being a creature of habit, I like consistency in not only my training, in nutrition, but in other things. And I'm going to talk a little bit about those today. In terms of training, I'm not a logbook guy, and I could go off on a different tangent on this and save it for an entirely different video, but I'm just going to touch on it right now. I used to track things in a logbook when I was earlier on in my weightlifting and training career, I guess you want to call it, but not much of a career. But when I started out in this journey years ago, I would write things down and I would track things that way, weights and loads and reps, and it's a means of progression. It's a way to track progression, and it's a way to gauge strength, and it's great. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. No, there are a lot of great top bodybuilders that still apply that method. A lot of power lifters do it, and that's understandable. But for me, I found that I prefer to not do that. I have a mapped out training routine and plan that I run with my programming, but there's a little instinctive element to that too. So it depends on how you feel that day. A certain movement might feel good. You might stay with that movement. So the logbook gets kind of a little unclear and a little cloudy for me if I try to track things that way, and I become too robotic. So being particular and liking to have a sense of consistency, I found the logbook just doesn't fit for me. even though it's a way to track consistency. It sounds a little contradictory, but for me, I don't prefer it. But again, getting back to my original point of this video, prioritizing these select things in your training, like not only your training but your nutrition, but there are things like your hydration and obviously your sleep. To prioritize your sleep is huge. So, and this is a life hack for a lot of people. It's simple things. It's not like rocket science, but a lot of us overcomplicate things by not doing the basic things in life that would make our life so much easier if we just applied them on a daily basis, consistently. The average person doesn't drink enough water. I mean, depending on the climate you're in, you need even more water. If it's a dry climate, if it's tons of humidity, and you're sweating a lot, if you're active, if your career, your job requires you to be physical. So hydration aids and benefits so many different things in your life. Digestion, right? Training, recovery, just overall well-being. I'm sorry, I can't talk today. Your thought process, your memory, sleep. So there are tons of benefits from hydration alone. I mean, face it, we as humans, we can live days without food, but you can't live very long without water, right? So when you think about it that way, I would prioritize that. The first thing and most important thing would be my hydration, to make sure I'm getting in enough fluid. And it's not just water. It's not just water. I mean, mineral balance is important. You need to make sure that you're taking in the right amount of minerals, potassium and sodium. People are afraid of salt. I'm not going to get off on this tangent either, but doctors today and things that you read will just blows my mind. That they're villainizing salt, but they're not villainizing sugar. They're saying steak and eggs are bad for you, but you can eat cereal. Cereal's fine, right? It's because they want to push products. I mean, I'm not going to get off on that. There's some controversy in that alone, but salt is not the enemy. Sugar is. Now, you need to be careful if you're inactive, you're not sweating a lot, if you're sedentary and you're consuming a lot of salt, particularly in processed foods, fast foods, stuff like that. If you're heavy or obese and prone to heart problems, then I would be cautious on salt intake, but I wouldn't get rid of it altogether. There's a place for it. Now, if you're active, if you're an athlete, you need salt, you need sodium, okay? And I find consistently salting my food in accurate measurements per meal, I'm getting in what my body would need to replenish the mineral that's wasted through sweat and activity. Plus, it helps with digestion. Plus, it helps with a ton of other medical research for yourself. I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm not a nutritionist either, by all means, but I do know that it's very, very helpful. And if you're a bodybuilder, it's incredibly important for, just to not get cramps in the gym, to get a pump and to maintain a pump in the gym, which is awesome to have because you're driving blood into the muscle, right? So salt helps that. It's a catalyst. It helps do that. So it's very important. So that's something I would prioritize. Hydration and sodium and mineral, potassium, magnesium, certain minerals that you need. Your body needs these things in order to function properly. So those are just two right off the rip. And the third, the most important thing is sleep. We need sleep. If you don't sleep, you're cranky, you're irritable, you're foggy, you can't perform properly. Your memory takes a hit. You're not recovering. And when we tear our tissue down in the gym, and you could train like an animal, you could hit and check off every box. You ate all your meals that day. You hydrated the hell out of yourself. You trained like an animal. You did everything. You went and got massage therapy and worked out some areas that have been problematic. And so you live in the life of a bodybuilder, but you're not sleeping. Well, you're not really recovering and you're not growing at the rate you should be. So sleep is important, and there are things that you can do to prioritize or maximize your sleep. Stop drinking caffeinated beverages. I mean, I'm not saying cut them out altogether, but have them early in the day. Have a couple. If you're going to have coffee, you're a coffee lover, have 2 cups maximum. And stop caffeine intake by like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't have it later than that. You don't want to tax or spike your adrenals or your central nervous system and keep your, you don't want to be wired. Even though you think, oh, caffeine doesn't affect me like that. It does. It's a stimulant, right? So you may not think it does, but if you get used to drinking a lot of caffeine, you require more to feel that kick from it. And you don't realize it's happening, but after a while, 3, 4, 5 caffeinated beverages is normal for you, and then you wonder why you're not sleeping at night. So I would definitely prioritize that and minimize that. Coffee is fine. Caffeine is fine if it's in small increments and limited to a couple of servings a day, and having it earlier in the day. So, and a lot of these people load up on, so they're not sleeping, right? They're tired. They're foggy in the morning. They crank down a bunch of caffeine. Then they take high stimulant pump pre-workouts. Now a pre-workout that's nitric oxide or something like that, and it's going to give you a pump. I'm fine with it. But that's me. Some people need and like that stimulant feeling with high doses of caffeine before they train. I don't like that feeling, that jittery feeling, that flushed, my lips start to tingle. I don't like that feeling, and so I stay away from it. But people are living on that in the gym. So they're not sleeping at night, and they're cranked out on caffeine and pre-workout, and all they're doing is continuing this vicious cycle of poor sleep. Right? So prioritize your rest, but it's the little things that we take for granted, the little things that we don't think about that are causing it, and we're like self-destructive. So if you take a different approach and outline and map out your day, and okay, what can I do better? And prioritizing those just hydration, sodium and mineral replenishment, sleep. Those 3 things alone are going to benefit you like beyond. I mean, you can't even begin to think. I mean, you got to be consistent with it. You got to be consistent. It takes 21 days to form a habit. So, but if you get in the routine of doing this every day, you're going to see the effects. You're going to feel the effects from it. So that's a big one. I strongly suggest that anybody out there that's feeling or struggling with certain things, and they think, well, I'm training hard, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but are you prioritizing those 3 things I mentioned? And then another one is gut health, right? So, and this is an important one, and those other things that I mentioned can affect gut health and digestion. I mean, if any 3 or all 3 of those previously mentioned things are not in your daily routine, your digestion more than likely is suffering from it. So it's not hard to figure out. I mean, if you take an approach where, okay, I'm going to wake up every day, and I'll probably make a video about this eventually too. It's my morning daily setup digestion drink. It's nothing crazy. But what I do in the morning is I take a concoction of lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, glutamine, a small amount of fiber supplement with warm water, and I drink it down every morning before I eat. I take in any nutrients for the day. As soon as I wake up, I drink, and by the time I've finished cardio, or by the time I've eaten my first meal, which from the time I wake up until the time I eat my first meal, it's usually an hour, because I usually do cardio, I stretch, I do mobility work, I do an ice bath, sometimes a combination of all, sometimes 1 or 2 of those mentioned items, but usually my morning routine involves something of the sort. And then by then I've had at least a liter of water in my system. So I've hydrated myself, because I've dehydrated all night long sleeping. I'm up, I'm an old man, I'm peeing 3-4 times a night. By the time I wake up, I need to slug some water. So drinking the liter of water, but also some of that water, about 500 milliliters, is used to consume that concoction I mentioned, which is a daily digestion setup drink, that's what I call it, that sets my digestion up for the day. And it puts me on the path of good digestion, of maintaining good digestion. So that's something that I do. So I just mentioned 4 things to prioritize. And if you're not doing them, I urge you to try them. Especially if you're feeling any sort of, I wouldn't call them side effects, but if you're feeling any ill effects from poor sleep or just think about your daily routine. Does it involve, am I drinking enough? Am I getting enough fluid in the course of a day? Anywhere between 3.5 liters to 6 liters of water a day for an active athletic type person or a bodybuilder. I drink 5 liters of water on average every single day. That's me. That works for me. Maybe during a contest prep, I'll increase the water to 6 liters. Because then we're going to eventually cut water. It depends on the prep. But my point is, I drink a lot and I drink enough for me. But are you drinking enough? So think about that. Do I drink enough fluid? Do I salt my food regularly? Or do I not salt meals? Do I put tons of salt on certain meals? Do I eat fast food that has tons of salt in it? And I'm not regularly or consistently salting my food? Am I sleeping at night? And if I'm not sleeping, why? What am I doing? Am I stressed? Stress will cause it. So, and there are certain things that if you are stressed and you are doing and checking the boxes off for those other items I've mentioned, and you're still not sleeping, then you might have a stressful job or a stressful relationship, and that's understandable. Life happens. So, but there are things that you can do to prioritize or optimize better sleep habits. Go to bed early. Try to shut your mind off. Don't go on your phone the hour before you go to bed. That blue light, it's a thing. Stay off your phone. And be strict with yourself. Force it. If you're a creature of habit and you like to get on your phone because it distracts your mind, listen to music. Do something different. Pray. My point is that can affect it. But there's magnesium. You can take magnesium. You can take certain supplements that are stress relieving, natural supplements that you can take at night that will help aid sleep. So there are certain things that you can also do. Take a warm bath. Try to relax your mind. So anyway, there's a few tips for you. It's kind of all over the place with it, but you get the gist of it. Prioritization of things that we overlook on a daily basis. If we could just consistently apply those things, you may find that you'll feel and perform a hell of a lot better than you do. So that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoy the content I'm putting out. I know some of it's boring to a lot of people, but for us bodybuilder nerds, it's or if you're just starting out and you're new at this, I hope you get some information from this that can help you and set you up, put you in the right direction to succeed. It's working for me. So anyway, that's all I have for today. So if you can, again, please like, subscribe, share this video with anybody that you think may be interested in seeing the information. And I'll put one out. I'll keep putting out content. If I get a good response from this, then I'll just keep throwing it out there. If you have any suggestions on anything you'd like to see me do or cover, put it in the comment section below, and I'll do it if I can. So that's it. Get up, get out there, take advantage of the day, whatever it is that makes you happy. Just do it to the best of your ability, and just enjoy it, because we live once and life's too short. So that's all I got. Until next time, see you.